Welcome back, Irish fans. Breaking Down Braves Boys podcast. Still trying to get my thoughts together, but Notre Dame's going to keep dancing. The Irish beat Rutgers in the first four in Dayton in a game that seemed like it would never end. Rutgers didn't want to go away. Ron Harper hit some unbelievable shots to keep Rutgers in it, and Geo Baker did as well. They made it really tough on Notre Dame, got them out of character a lot tonight, and forced Notre Dame to rely on their offense a ton at times. And it didn't quite work out for him. Heck of an effort by Rutgers. That's a really good group over there. A couple of stars in college basketball and guys that didn't match up with Notre Dame, or Notre Dame didn't match up extremely well with. But Notre Dame found a way to win this game. It's kind of been their theme all year. Even when they don't have their best on one end of the floor, even when they don't have their best on both ends of the floor, they find a way to win, and they did that tonight behind some big shots by Prentiss Hubb late. Blake Wesley put it into double OT. Cormac Ryan got a big stop when he needed it. Paul Atkinson obviously got the game winner. Laszewski took that huge charge where that was one of the more impressive charges I've seen, where it just barely got his feet set, and then follows it up with a bucket to put him up 69-67, which seems like forever ago at this point. It's really hard to remember a lot of stuff that happened in this game. It was just chaos all night, but the story's got to be Notre Dame keeps dancing. There's not really another one. Notre Dame didn't defend all that well tonight. They didn't do all the little things all that well tonight. They missed free throws. They missed around the rim. They didn't rebound all that well, but they still found a way to win. And that's kind of been the MO of this team all year. No matter what's thrown at them, they still find ways to win when they should win, and even sometimes when they shouldn't win. And Cormac Ryan had an unbelievable night tonight. Paul Atkinson had an unbelievable night. Blake Wesley didn't quite have the night I'm sure he was hoping for on his birthday, but made some huge plays down the stretch that kept Notre Dame in this one. Trey Wertz didn't have it all that much tonight, but made a huge strip late in the second half to get Notre Dame the ball back, and also had 4 assists, which kind of went under the radar. Prentiss Hubb did a nice job running the offense too, but the main stories tonight were Cormac Ryan, Paul Atkinson, Dane Goodwin stepping up, and Trey Wertz, or not Trey Wertz, Laszewski. So, man, Cormac Ryan played like his hair was on fire tonight. I remember yesterday was talking about how his dream was to not only play games in March, but to win, and that Notre Dame's only halfway there. He sure played like his dream was to win a few games in March. Was physical, wasn't afraid to attack, was hitting shots, and I thought this was the Cormac we'd see all year. He just looked like a man on a mission tonight. He looked like his intensity was on another level compared to the other guys on the floor. Just made so many big plays throughout the game. Heck of a steal on that press to put him up late in the first overtime, stop Geo Baker at the end of regulation. It's big shots all night, and Cormac Ryan was probably Notre Dame's best guard tonight and was one of the main reasons they won this game, despite some of the deficiencies they had tonight. Apologies if I skipped some stuff. That was a long game. It's midnight, but was a really fun game to cover, one of the more fun games that I've ever covered in my first March Madness game. Couldn't have asked for anything better, really. Notre Dame just found a way to win, like I've been preaching all year. Rutgers made it tough on them. There were certainly some matchup deficiencies that they exploited pretty much all night, especially down low with their one big, and then Ron Harper Jr. is a matchup nightmare, Swiss Army knife in its truest form. But, man, Notre Dame found a way to beat him despite some out-of-body performances from Rutgers and some mismatches, and that's certainly something this group should be proud of. Alabama's certainly going to challenge Notre Dame, but I don't know, man. Notre Dame is they seem like they're kind of rolling right now. It's St. Patrick's Day. The luck of the Irish is out, and it's tough to provide analysis right now. There's just so much going through my head, but I'll start with just player by player a little bit, and then kind of get into more stuff. Prentiss Hubb had 7 assists tonight. Did a nice job facilitating. Got to the lane a few times late. That were big finishes, especially one on Ron Harper late that put Notre Dame ahead, I believe. But I think his main contribution tonight was facilitating. 7 assists, 4 of them came really early, and got Notre Dame's offense going. Got Paul Atkinson a bunch of open looks, and Mike Bray's kind of harped on Prentiss Hubb, harping on Paul Atkinson all year. Prentiss has always been a proponent of getting Paul a touch, and he did that tonight. He got a few good looks, and Prentiss also had 5 rebounds tonight, and didn't shoot it all that well, didn't defend all that well, but did some really good things. Hit 3 out of 4 free throws, 2 huge ones late, which He's done all year. Prentiss Hubb didn't have an out-of-body experience tonight. He didn't have it for a lot of the night tonight, but hit two big free throws that kind of iced this one. Well, I don't know about ice. Rutgers had a shot, but Prentiss Hubb did some great things tonight, even if the total performance wasn't that great. And I think we've been kind of accustomed to that from him this year, and he did it tonight. Heck of a performance late, and a heck of a few plays Prentiss Hubb made. It's kind of the same thing for Blake Wesley. The two of them weren't all that great combined. I had, what would that be, 16 points, 17 points tonight combined. Blake shot 4 for 17, Prentiss shot 3 for 12, and Blake made some costly mistakes tonight, but he also canceled them out with some unbelievable takes late in the game. Wouldn't have set Atkinson up for that game winner if Blake couldn't penetrate in the lane there. And he did his part tonight, got 6 boards, played good defense on Ron Harper. I think Blake Wesley probably has the record for most threes hit in his face. I feel like every time there's a tough shot that a guy hits from deep three, like whether it's a bank or just like the shot Ron Harper hit late from the hash, I feel like it's always on Blake Wesley. And he gets the unlucky draws. He's got a hand up in the guy's face, and it goes in way more than it should probably. But Blake made some big plays down the stretch as well. Didn't hit a three, didn't hit a free throw, but still made some huge plays that kept Notre Dame in this game and then ultimately led to Notre Dame winning it. Certainly wasn't a perfect performance. They're going to need better from him against Alabama, but man, solid outing from Blake Wesley in terms of what he did when it really mattered. And the free throws weren't pretty. A lot of those shots he forced early were not pretty. He kind of looked like a freshman a lot of the time tonight, even though he seemed like he grew a little bit out of that as the year went on. Tonight kind of was back to square one in that aspect, took 17 shots. Not a lot of them were great shots, but penetrated into the lane and found guys and set up Paul Atkinson for that game winner with that drive late in the game. And I think you can ask for more from Blake Wesley. Certainly wasn't his best outing, and I'm sure he'd tell you that. He's harder on himself than pretty much anybody is. But, man, he made some plays when it mattered, played good defense when it mattered, even if it didn't quite show on the stat sheet. But okay outing for Hubb and Blake, did what they needed to when it mattered, and that we're not going to look back on this game in a few months and say Blake was 4 for 17, Prentiss was 3 for 12. We're going to say, man, those guys made some big plays to win this game, and they did that tonight, and so did Cormac Ryan. Got that steal on the press. Like I said, just played with his hair on fire. And I think Cormac Ryan, I've always felt this, is built for March Madness. He's a guy who just has so much energy. I think has more offensive talent than we've given him credit for over the year, kind of what I was alluding to in the preseason. He is really talented offensively and just hasn't really been able to show that because of the other personnel Notre Dame has. And none of the other guards were stepping up early. Cormac Ryan did that for him. And Notre Dame has Cormac Ryan to thank for a lot of the plays that won this game. Heck of a steal, great defense down the stretch, and a couple big shots to put Notre Dame up late. I think he kind of set the tone defensively, being physical, not being afraid to attack, and be aggressive on that end. So shout out to Cormac Ryan, heck of a performance. And wouldn't say Dane Goodwin had a heck of a performance, but started to turn out a little bit late. I did notice he wasn't on the floor at the end of the game, but finished 4 for 7 from the field, 12 points, 2 for 2 from 3. I think they got to make a more conscious effort to get him involved on Friday. If they want to win, they're going to need more from Dane. They're going to need more from Blake. They're probably going to need more from Hubb, but Dane made some big plays here down the stretch. And he was certainly a factor in this game, offensively, defensively. Was not, though. I thought that's why he wasn't on the floor late. Was not his best defensive performance. Was a lot of Caleb McConnell's success in the first half was Dane Goodwin's fault. Goodwin couldn't really stop him at all. But I guess it doesn't matter all that much now that Notre Dame won this game. It's the tournament. We're not doing eye tests much anymore. It's the tournament. If you win, you win. Survive and advance. And Dane Goodwin did just enough. Blake Wesley did just enough. Prentiss Hubb did just enough to help Notre Dame survive and advance. And that's what really matters in this game rather than the individual performances. Nate Laszewski, man, heck of a performance. 6 for 8, 2 for 4 from 3, 4 for 5 from the line, 6 rebounds, 18 points, no turnovers, only 2 fouls. And I thought Nate Laszewski should have been the second big on the floor a lot of the time, but he really contributed to the offense being opened up as it was. When they ran 5 out, Rutgers had no answer. They've never seen a team like that in the Big Ten, I don't think. A lot of those teams have an emphasis on the big guy like Kofi Coburn, Zach Edey. Rutgers is used to seeing that, and having Nate Laszewski on the floor, just kind of a matchup nightmare for a team like that who's not used to guarding guys out on the perimeter who are playing the 5. And Nate Laszewski is to thank for a lot of those open drives that Prentiss Hubb had, or Cormac Ryan had, or Blake Wesley had. Nate Laszewski is a huge part of that, and heck of a performance by him, and also did a lot of things that don't show up on the stat sheet. Thought he played really physical on defense. Didn't quite get the bounces on the boards. Notre Dame really struggled on the boards tonight, especially when it mattered. Now let me see the stats. Rutgers had 31 boards. Rutgers had 42. It's midnight. Rutgers had 44 boards. Notre Dame had 32. And Notre Dame got away with it. And that's, like I said, it's been the motto of this team. It's been the MO. And that didn't stop tonight. Paul Atkinson was probably the MVP of this one. Cormac Ryan made some huge plays, was Notre Dame's best guard. But I think Atkinson was maybe Notre Dame's best player tonight. Was really physically outmatched. Rutgers center the guy is like a mutant. Paul Atkinson can't do anything about those alley-oops they're throwing up to him. Paul Atkinson would have no chance to block those. But Atkinson did his part on offense, really got Notre Dame started, and that's why you bring in a guy like Paul Atkinson in. When the offense is in a rut early, when Blake's forcing it, when Prentiss can't really get anything going, Paul's the guy you throw it down to, get a few buckets early. I think he scored the first 6 points and finished with 26. 13 for 15, 6 rebounds, 2 blocks, and I didn't think Paul Atkinson could have done much better tonight. I thought the matchup didn't favor him, but Atkinson still came out and played really well. It was a big reason Notre Dame dominated in the paint in terms of scoring, and you can't ask for more than that, specifically with this matchup. And Paul Atkinson, game winner, leading scorer, defensive rebounds were tied for the highest. MVP of this game, 13 for 15 from the field. You cannot ask for more from Paul Atkinson. And this game alone makes it worth them getting him in the portal. Atkinson's really turned it on lately, especially offensively. Defensively, I think he's still a little bit of a work in progress, and a lot of the defensive issues he has you can't fix just because of size. But, man, Atkinson did his part tonight, and MVP of this game for sure, even if Cormac Ryan and Laszewski didn't make big contributions. But overall, Notre Dame survived and advanced, and that was what mattered tonight. Things could have been very busy if they lost. A lot of stuff is going to happen when they get bounced. But, man, Notre Dame found a way to push that off a little bit against a team that I'm not sure they've seen a team this disruptive defensively all year. I thought Notre Dame stayed really composed against it, kind of got Rutgers out of what they wanted to do defensively. They really wanted to suffocate Notre Dame. They wanted to put pressure on them, and they wanted to use their size and physicality against them. Notre Dame just completely opened up the floor and didn't let Rutgers do that at all. So Notre Dame defeated a big star in Ron Harper Jr., big star in Geo Baker, and a team that isn't a great matchup for them just because of the elite offensive performance that they had tonight and the big plays they made on the stretch, finding a way to win despite all the matchup problems and despite all the errors in the little things they did tonight. But big outing for Notre Dame, probably the biggest win since I've covered the program. And that's saying something considering some of the wins they've gotten over the last 2 years. But really fun night. Can't wait to do it again Friday. And I'll be back then for the post game. Thank you guys for watching. Really appreciate all the support this year. I feel like I've got a pretty consistent viewer base. And I think you guys would be a little incoherent too after this kind of game. I had all my notes prepared at the end of the second half, and we went to OT, had to make some new notes. Went to a new OT, had to make some new notes. And this was a challenging post-game show. It's 12:19 a.m. on a school night, and a game that was just pure anarchy, as John Rothstein likes to say. Anarchy, nope, just college basketball. He says that for a reason. Tonight showed it. And heck of a win for Notre Dame, heck of a game. And tonight was March personified. So looking forward to doing it again Friday. Notre Dame's certainly going to have a tough time with the travel. They're going to have to fly to San Diego tonight and then play at 4 o'clock against the Bama team who loves to run on Friday. But if they can find a way to win this game, then they can do some serious damage. They're probably going to see Texas Tech after that if they win. And one game at a time, though. Bama's a running gun 3-point team. That's going to be tough coming off a game like this with a 7-man rotation. But Notre Dame might have the magic in them here, and we'll see that if they do on Friday. We'll see if which Bama team shows up, the Bama team that beat Gonzaga or the Bama team that lost to Missouri. We're going to see, and I can't wait to watch this game on Friday and cover another March Madness game. Just an awesome experience overall. So thank you guys for watching. Thanks for putting up with some of my incoherent thoughts for a few minutes, and hopefully everybody has a great Thursday, and I'll see you on Friday. Notre Dame keeps dancing, and they will be in San Diego at 4 o'clock Eastern on Friday. Thank you guys for watching. Peace.